Hello, hello. It's Tuesday. So you know what that means. It's another episode of the High Achieving Female podcast, where on Tuesdays, you get to meet really amazing founders who are going to share their expertise and knowledge. This week, you're going to meet Suzi Freeman, based out of Phoenix, Arizona. She is the founder of Elite Minds Consulting and Elite Minds Academy. She is a board certified master practitioner in neurolinguistics programming, and she's going to be talking to us about emotional intelligence. We're going to learn about what it is, why it's important, and what the 4 pillars of emotional intelligence are and how you can foster them. So get ready. It's going to be a great episode. Of course, if you love this one, give it some love, like, share, review, all of the things. Thanks so much. See you next time. Welcome to the High Achieving Female podcast, powered by Know, where we believe high achieving female leaders deserve to be known. Here, you're going to get the tips, tools, and inspiration you need to network, grow, scale, and balance your business, career, and life. Hello. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Suzi Freeman, and I'm very excited to be here chatting with you about emotional intelligence and why it's so important. So let's start by covering what is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, as described by the guru, Dr. Daniel Goleman, he very simply puts it, emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage one's own emotions, and recognize, understand, and influence the emotions of others. Now, you might be wondering a few things here. Why do we need to have strong emotional intelligence skills? And how do we get them? So no worries, that's why I'm here. We're going to briefly cover those 2 questions in this podcast today. And for those of you who can't grab some paper and pen because you might be driving or so, go ahead and download this episode so you can listen to it again while taking notes. First, we're going to go over why emotional intelligence is important. For one, emotional intelligence can help build better leaders, stronger teams within your company. Emotional intelligence can make you a better parent, a better friend, and overall, a better person. Now that's fantastic. It can also help reduce stress and anxiety, and it can make you a happier person. And who doesn't love happy people? I mean, happy people are so contagious. That's my kind of contagion. When we do build emotional intelligence in our children, they become better equipped to handle tantrums and preteen and teen emotions. When we help foster emotional intelligence in our children, we set them up to be more successful and have a better future with less stress and anxiety overall. As one quote from Dr. Goleman says, as much as 80% of our adult success comes from emotional intelligence. That's pretty amazing. I personally believe this to be true, and I work on teaching and fostering emotional intelligence every day. It's just that important in my life, and it should be in yours. So we've briefly covered the why. Now let's go ahead and talk about the how. The good news with emotional intelligence is that it can be learned and perfected over time. The earlier we start learning, the better off we are. As learning it later in life, it just means you might have to unlearn certain habits. A little bit more difficult, but absolutely not impossible. So if we go over the 4 main components of emotional intelligence, we have self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, and relationship management. I'm just going to touch a little on each of these 4 categories to help you start your emotional intelligence learning journey. If we talk about self-awareness first, this is the conscious knowledge of one's own character, feelings, motives, and desires. And here are some ways to gain more self-awareness. Practice mindfulness, journaling, create a personal vision statement. This one is my favorite. I mean, how fun is it to sit and create a personal vision statement? My husband and I created a family vision statement once, and that was magical. So, creating a personal vision statement can be fantastic. Observing others is also a great skill. And then knowing your triggers. And you can learn to know your triggers by tracking your emotion when certain things happen and just tracking how the feelings come about. What did you feel? What did you do? What did that person say? Did they roll their eyes? Did they yell? What happened? If you just break apart a situation as to where it led to that moment of that feeling and emotion you don't care for, that is going to help you find your trigger. Pay attention to your thoughts, because remember, thoughts become your emotions. And one of the most difficult ones, especially as a mom, setting boundaries. This one is huge. It's the hardest to do, but it is a crucial component in self-awareness. And if I briefly am to mention lack of self-awareness, it's the fear of vulnerability that can absolutely cause a lack of self-awareness. And oh man, that one is a biggie. And I'm just going to let you know, we're not going to unpack that one today.
This week's episode of the High Achieving Female Podcast is brought to you by the No Global Membership. It's time. Get in the room to network with women you want and need to know. Link to join the membership is in the show notes below. And don't forget, you can also claim your freebie today.
Let's discuss self-management, or some call it self-regulation. Ultimately, self-regulation is the ability to exert control over our emotions effectively. How can you do this? First of all, when a situation arises, you can create space and pause. So when that emotion comes up, don't immediately react. Just give yourself a little bit of space and just think about it for a moment. Notice what you're feeling and how you're feeling. And you want to make sure that you include physical symptoms. Recognize and name those feelings or that emotion. Is it fear? Is it anger, hurt, sadness, guilt? What are you feeling? What is that emotion? Give it a name. And if you're feeling more than one, that's okay too. Sometimes we encounter 2, 3 emotions at one time. You want to accept that emotion or feeling and practice self-compassion around it. Don't judge yourself too harshly for that feeling. Don't beat yourself up by thinking, oh my God, I shouldn't be feeling this way because it's not that bad, or, whatever comes to mind. Just give yourself a little compassion and know that your feeling is your feeling. Just feel it, recognize it. Engage in positive self-talk. This one's a biggie too. A little hard, but imagine if you're giving advice to your best friend or your mom or daughter or something about this subject or whatever you're feeling. What would you say to them? You certainly wouldn't pilfer their mind with or put in their mind a ton of negative thought. You would do it with positive self-talk. So just do that to yourself. And then another good one is consider the story that you're telling yourself around the situation. Is it all true? That's a big one there. Now let's move right on into social awareness. This is the third component in emotional intelligence. To be socially aware and have good social skills is the ability to take the perspective of and empathize with others. Here are some quick tips on how you can develop social awareness skills. You want to practice having empathy and compassion for others. You want to be a good listener. I was once told to listen first to everybody in the room and then talk last, because it just gives you a bigger awareness of what everybody is thinking in the room, and it gives you a more intelligent response. So that's a good one. Listen first, talk last. And then pay attention. This one's huge. Pay attention to the tone of voice, body language, and the facial expressions of others. You can learn a lot from the body language and facial expressions of others. Sometimes people aren't verbally expressing exactly what they mean, but if you're in tune with their faces and their body language, you can get some great clues to what they're really trying to say. And another good one, this is for the social awareness and for Self-awareness is pay attention to how others react to you. Now, how do others respond to you? Lastly, express gratitude toward others whenever you can. That's just a good one all around to have. It has been said that 10% of conflict is due to the difference in opinion, and 90% is due to the delivery and tone of voice. Now, let's wrap this up with the last pillar, relationship management. It is the last pillar of emotional intelligence. What exactly does relationship management mean? Relationship management wraps together the first three components of emotional intelligence. And it has you put that all in one with those three, it gives you that whole encompassed behavior. I guess I could sum that up a little bit better for you. So relationship management, it's using your awareness of your own emotions and those of others to manage interactions successfully. It involves clear communication and effective handling of conflict. And it is the bond you build with others over time. So what does this component do? This component can improve motivation and productivity, and it can foster a positive atmosphere in the workplace and your home. You might be asking, how do you build good relationship management skills? First of all, you must practice the first three pillars of emotional intelligence that we had already discussed: self-awareness, self-management, and social awareness. Practice those, because again, the relationship management encompasses all three of those. You want to build a culture of listening. You want to set clear expectations when working in teams or at home. Ask questions and be a positive leader. And that's it, man. That is emotional intelligence in a quick nutshell. I hope this fast tutorial piques your interest and you want to dive into the subject more. I thank you so much for being here and listening and taking great notes. And I want to leave you with one more quote that sums it all up. When awareness is brought to an emotion, power is brought to your life. That's from Tara Robson. Thank you again. I am Suzi Freeman, and you can find me at SuziFreeman.com, on Instagram at Suzi Freeman, spelled SuziFreeman. If you have any questions about this episode, or you just want to talk to me about emotional intelligence in general, you can text me 480-530-7059. Have yourself an amazing day. Now go out and be great.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the High Achieving Female Podcast, powered by No, where we believe it's time for high achieving women like you to be seen, heard, and recognized. Until next time, remember, you deserve to be known.